Welcome to the Weston Way, the official podcast of the city of Weston, Florida. I'm Pam.
And I'm Austin.
And today we're excited to have in our studio today our very own team leader, Director of Communications, Denise Barrett-Miller. Denise, welcome to the studio today.
Thank you so much. And it's amazing to be here with basically my work family and great friends.
It's great to have you here. You know, we're super grateful that you've afforded us this opportunity to pursue this new communications channel with the public, brand new podcast that we, have been working on and grateful to have your leadership over.
Absolutely. And we're always looking at new and innovative ways to communicate and engage with our residents and our public here in the city of Weston. But before we look forward, let's take a trip back to your journey in public service, your journey in local government. Tell us about how you got started, Denise.
Thanks, Pam. Well, it's a little emotional for me. I haven't shared this before, but basically I've always had a desire to be in a role that helped the public. I can say that I didn't grow up with financial wealth. My sisters and I qualified for free lunch in public school, and everybody knew it because way back then, I'm dating myself, you had the type of ticket that you handed in the lunch line. I know how it made me feel, and it stuck with me for a very long time. And I knew from that time and for years that I always wanted to do something that helped others. I had great compassion then, and I have great compassion now for those that need assistance or a helping hand. And basically that's why I got into public service.
Thank you for sharing that, because I know it's vulnerable sometimes to start, but those little memories that we have and those feelings that we have as a young child really shape our future in terms of how we want to grow, what we want to do in our adult life.
They do.
They really do.
And really, in communications, we do so much to help people because we're getting that information, whether it's just information about lighthearted things like parks or events or services that are really well needed in the community, and we're making those connections with the people that need that information.
So how then did that lead you to settle on communication specifically?
Well, my career path definitely wasn't a straight line to communications. It's been a bit more of a journey. I originally thought I was going to go into law enforcement, so I earned a degree in criminal justice. I moved to Florida, and I began my career in public service, working in police dispatch for a municipality on the east side of town. I did that for over 4 years. I had a baby, and if you know anything about law enforcement, those hours are not exactly cohesive to a good family life. I was fortunate enough that municipality offered me a job in the city manager's office. So I spent the next 6 years there in various roles. But throughout the different titles that I had there was one common theme, and that I was always working on some events, newsletters, and special projects. And you'll see how this continues. When Weston was incorporated as a city over 29 years ago, and of course I had never heard of it, I don't think anybody had, I saw a unique opportunity. I applied for the position of assistant to the city manager. I was offered the job, and I accepted. At that time, the city had just 3 employees. I was one of about 10 dedicated staff members who worked for Weston, but through an outside contractor. In those early years, I was asked again to help create a city newsletter, launch a website, coordinate some events, and I loved it. Around the same time, I also completed my degree in public administration. Over time, I realized, guess what my true passion was?
Right.
Communications and public relations. Eventually, I was made a city employee and became the director of communications for the city of Weston. As the city grew, I helped grow the communications department and build the city's brand from the ground up. what I truly love most about this work, it touches every aspect of city government.
Right.
It's about making sure the public has clear, timely, accessible information about every city operation. And Pam, as you know, during critical times like hurricanes and emergencies, it becomes essential. Our role is an essential function. And that brings me full circle to why I entered public service in the first place, to help people. And honestly, that is what drives me still today.
I recall a story that you always tell about coming out here to Weston in those early days for your interview, I believe. Tell us about that. What was Weston like in those early days when it was first incorporated in 1996?
Well, I drove and I drove and I drove. I lived on the east side of town. I worked on the east side of town, and I'm like, where is this place? So I
No
made
Google
it.
Maps you could plug in.
Yeah, negative. No Google Maps. I drove, and I found it, and I have to say it was lovely.
Right.
And then I met with Mr. Flint and James Ward, and they were as nice as they could be. And I have nothing but great memories. But there was also, here's this beautiful new town with 2 traffic lights and nowhere to go to eat.
It's so difficult to imagine. And I remember growing up in South Florida, I remember Weston, being built, and of course the controversy about building, so close to the Everglades, and being a part of that, but just followed Weston from a distance. And I just can't imagine being in this sort of Western wilderness.
Yes. It was unbelievable. And literally, once we started a newsletter, the big news was when we were putting in a traffic signal.
Right.
I mean, that was big, important
That's
news to
amazing.
people.
Very cool to be a part of the building of Weston from the
Yes.
ground up.
The real history.
It was incredible, yes.
Real history. And I didn't know this until just before we began recording, but you are the longest tenured employee here now at the city of Weston.
At this point, I'd say I am, because I think the others longer than me are gone. They're retired.
Right. You did mention Mr. Flint. That would be the city's first
city manager. Yes.
before Mr. Decker. You're a real resource for Weston history. So it's
For
it's
what
great
I can
to have
remember, yes. Yes.
I'm sure it must have been a whirlwind in those early days. Building
The
this from
development
scratch.
was incredible. Yes. It was quite an accomplishment. It's not often that happens in somebody's lifetime.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
it's
and
very special.
definitely along with the building and the development that was going along, you were shaping the vision and the image of the city, establishing, working to establish a logo, a style guide, the colors, the signage, even the interior design of buildings.
Yes.
You got involved in and continue to be involved in terms of picking finishings and furnishings and a lot of things that just shape the look
The
and
brand.
feel and
Right.
the brand of
Right.
the city. So
None of it's an accident,
Right.
These are all decisions that somebody
No,
has to make to
Nothing
really.
is an accident. And that's also a part of communications, is you set the tone, you set the style, you set the brand. And it's very purposeful. And a lot of it is about, and this goes also to credit to Mr. Flint, the values that the city puts forward, and your tone reflects those values for the city. And that's what we did from the beginning, and we have those same values and goals today, and we carry them forward.
And I know it's rare to have that opportunity in many of these communities that have existed for quite a while, for decades. So a lot of people are coming in the middle of something, and if you don't have that start that we were fortunate to have with your leadership and with Mr. Flint's leadership, it's tough to
go backwards
reclaim
and
your brand and your
yeah.
name and the vision that you have for your community.
And if a community let that slip, it's something very hard to get back. So it's extremely important.
And why do you feel that communications is a priority for any city, especially Weston?
I think many years ago, communications was something that was an afterthought, not a priority. And today, especially with the rise in social media and the lack of local newspapers,
Right.
the change there has made it a priority, and it has to be. Nobody's going to provide your residents with the information about your city if it's not you.
Right. And that's where you want residents to come to us to get the official information from the
Correct
source.
information. And who's going to make them feel good about themselves and their city if it's not you?
Right. And you spoke briefly, you mentioned emergencies and crisis situations and that type of communication. Our roles as government communicators kind of switch into this role as a public information officer in the standard response protocols that we have in city government. So talk to us about emergency preparedness and how we get information out in that way.
Well, that's probably one of the most critical functions in public information, and another reason why cities hire professionals today. You know, we have what is called the NIMS system, National Incident Management System, which a lot of your employees, and I think we had the fire chief on, and I know he went into that in detail. But our function stays as a public information officer, and we provide critical information before a storm, if we're talking about hurricanes, hits, to get residents to prepare, important information during, and extremely important information on how the residents are to recover after a storm. But emergency information is critical. Communications is the right message to the right audience at the right time.
Yes.
And an example would be a meteorologist sending out information on a tornado touching down after it's touched down.
Right. Exactly. Getting that information when you need to take action is so important.
So important.
You were the one that built the city's image and brand. You were a part of those early teams. And now you're presented with a whole new challenge. It's not building, but now it's maintaining. And it's maintaining it in a time when you have different challenges like social media, misinformation, and rumors that can spread out of control concerning the city. So how has the city worked to, maintain our image and brand and fight misinformation in the community?
Well, with the rise in social media and, the lack of local news coverage, we've pretty much obviously stepped into that place. As you know, we provide communications on multiple levels. Misinformation is a problem for everyone. We do step in and try. We have a Mythbusters page on our website. And we'll get into a little more, I hope, about our civic engagement. We cultivate ambassadors within the community to try and quell misinformation and get people to know where to look for correct information. But with social media, it moves so quickly.
Right. It
We
spreads
know
so
how
fast.
it spreads so quickly. But if we can, stop it where it starts, that we do just that. We have good relationships with our followers on social media. Austin, you are doing an incredible job. And when you have a good relationship with your followers, you and I see it. They monitor each other.
They do.
They really do. They come to our defense. They know what's right and what's wrong.
Right. And I think it's so important that the community understands where to get accurate information, because there are so many ways that people are getting information now. It used to be, like you said, newspaper, local news, a city newsletter. Now there are so many different information channels. I mean, we're on a podcast now, but there's so many podcasts and just Instagram reels. People, watch certain social media things, and you can't take that as fact. You always have to fact check other sources.
And if we can just get people to think twice before they buy into somebody's statement that just doesn't sound right, and check with the city. And I think we're doing that.
Right.
I think it's getting across.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just the nature of it, we're often on the defensive and being reactive to things that we see pop up that we know might be incorrect. But the city, I think, has done a really great job through these civic engagement initiatives of building that community of people that'll come to our defense and be more proactive in the community. It's a problem for everybody.
Encouraging. Yes, it's encouraging. It's enlightening. People love their city,
Right.
And I think they're truly positive. So I think they hesitate to think negative things about it, and they look and listen.
Yeah, it does make our job easier being in a well-informed community,
Well-informed
which
community.
Weston is, and we're grateful for.
Absolutely. And we want our listeners to know to, visit our website, subscribe to our e-notifications and our e-newsletter that we put out weekly, Newsday, Tuesday. We as a team work hard under Denise's leadership. She established that years ago, a weekly newsletter that not only has city information, but has information that's important to our residents that may be from the state or county initiatives and services.
Resources that we otherwise wouldn't know about that are offered and provided by the state, by the county, that can make a real difference in people's lives, especially some of the vulnerable, the elderly, the different resources that we share.
We go well beyond our boundaries because there's a lot out there that is offered to the public. Absolutely. Newsday Tuesday would be my biggest go-to for people. They really need to sign up for our e-newsletter if they want to be informed on not just city information and programs and events, but information for your daily life.
Right. Your primary
You
news
need
source.
to sign up.
Yeah, and that's the best way to not miss anything that's going on. We're always promoting city events, but we understand that people are busy, and especially if you're looking on social media, I mean, you're going to see hundreds, if not thousands, of images and posts a day and a week. So it's very easy for some of these promotions to fall through the cracks. But if you do subscribe to Newsday Tuesday and you do read it in the morning it comes out, you won't miss a thing.
It's once a week, but it'll save you a lot of time and effort.
All righty, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back to talk more about some civic engagement programs and hear more from Denise Barrett-Miller about some interesting Weston stories.
City decisions affect all of us, so why not get involved? Attend a Weston City Commission meeting and learn more about what's happening in your community. Meetings are open to the public, live streamed online, and available as recordings. From parks planning to public safety, your input matters. Visit westonfl.org for dates, times, and agendas. It's your city. Be part of the conversation.
Native plants do more than just beautify your yard. They help conserve water, attract pollinators, and reduce the need for chemicals. Consider Florida-friendly landscaping in your home garden or lawn. You may even qualify as an NWF-certified wildlife habitat. Less watering, less maintenance, and more beauty? It's a win-win. Visit westonfl.org/wildlife to learn more.
As temperatures rise, so does the risk of heat-related illness. Stay safe when you're enjoying our beautiful Weston parks or working outside. Hydrate regularly, wear light-colored clothing, and take breaks in the shade or air conditioning. And don't forget sunscreen and bug spray. Heat exhaustion and dehydration can come on quickly, so take it slow and stay cool. A little preparation goes a long way.
And we're back with our Director of Communications and leader, Miss Denise Barrett-Miller. Denise, one of my favorite initiatives here within our department is the Weston University program. For those that don't know, Weston University is a weeks-long civics program for local high school students, in which we're given and provided some of the best and brightest young minds and leaders in Weston, and take them all through the ins and outs of their local government. So I wonder if you can just tell us a bit about Weston University and kind of the initial need for it and kind of the building of the program.
Yes, definitely a labor of love. 23 years now, since 2002. Weston University is the brainchild of our former city manager, John Flint. He asked me to develop the program because when he was growing up in New Jersey, he had gone to like a one-day school program. I guess they did maybe a simulation type exercise. And he always thought, he enjoyed it. He thought it was really interesting. Obviously, he became a city manager.
Right. It
It
inspired
made
something.
an impact there. And he thought it should really be expanded. Kids should be exposed to a lot more of their city government. So he came into my office one day and he's like, so this happened and we should do something. We should do a program for students and it should be big. So developed a program, developed a big program. So we have a 7-week program, once a month for 7 weeks. We provide a civic education program for high school students. The high schools select the students themselves. We
Right.
don't select them. Juniors and seniors. We involve Cypress Bay, Western High School, Exceed Academy, Sagemont. We even take homeschooled students or students from another high school as long as they're from
Live in
live
Weston.
in Weston. It exposes students to a variety of city services that are provided to our residents. The program provides a comprehensive look at local government, and it really exposes them to career paths that they may never have envisioned.
I think it's always great. It is one of my favorite programs as well. Like Austin said, it just gives us the opportunity to connect with that next generation that we have here in Weston. But it's always great to give them the overview of the program, how it's going to work. And the looks on their faces is like, I don't know exactly what I'm getting into, but okay. And just the feedback that we get from them at the end of the program is like, you can see that the dots were connected and they really understand now how their government operates and the value of, wow, that was a really cool program that I was involved in.
Yep.
And we stay connected with them
We
afterwards.
stay connected with a lot of them.
We've hired them.
We have hired many of them.
No, that's one of my favorite things is to hear those stories of people who find a career path for themselves based on things that they've learned from the program. It's remarkable.
Yes, and it does take that deep dive into the behind the scenes of what's goes on and landscape architecture, some fields that you don't really realize, that even communications,
Right.
you don't realize that there's a whole division
And
of
pathway for you
Right.
to go down. And I have to say this because I would be remiss if I did not tout that this program would not be the success that it is if we didn't have the full buy-in from our city department heads and the support of every city commission in the past and present.
Right.
Because it takes a village.
Yes, and it takes time for from their regular work hours throughout the year that we're
Yes.
providing the program, and they're really hands-on and dig in with the students. So it's really a great program from that perspective as well. It wouldn't be the same without their impact and their buy-in.
Right. We've had students in the program go on to work for contract providers as engineers. We've had students go on to be a lawyer in environmental or land use law and present in front of our city commission.
Amazing.
This really ages me too. We've had students that have been hired and worked in our communications department. It's just so, it enriches my heart, I guess you could say. Also have gone on to be in the military, military academies. So it's really a great program.
And from Weston University, it's evolved to also spin off into another program that we now offer for adults. Can you tell us about that?
I would be happy to. This program is called Weston Gov Academy. We just wrapped up our 4th year, and we have our current city manager, Mr. Don Decker, to thank for that program. We were requested to develop this program for adult residents to provide a civic engagement program about the operation, same thing really, the operation of our city, while developing natural ambassadors, again, for within the community, folks who would know where to find trusted information about the city. The background on this is a little interesting. When our team was tasked with developing this program, we decided to bring in a student intern for assistance. That intern was a former Weston University graduate.
Of course.
Of course. You got to bring in the best. He did a fantastic job of research and development, and we ultimately have a great end product, which is the Weston Gov Academy, which we have now. The benefits to the city and the residents, again, community ambassadors. Many are on social media. They become natural ambassadors. They stamp down false information. They help us promote our events.
Yes.
They tell friends and neighbors about it. Husbands tell wives. The wives are in the next program, or the husbands are in the next
see a lot of
program. And
Their children in Weston University.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
and
family
then
affair.
everybody gets to know about everything Weston has to offer.
Yes, and Weston Gov Academy is offered in the spring, so we encourage, if you are interested in being a part of that, to watch our website and Newsday Tuesday. We will announce it. We'll have a registration in early 2026, so February, March. Watch for that because it fills up within an hour.
Yes.
Right. We just hosted the graduation ceremony of this last class of the Weston
We
Gov
take
Academy.
a maximum of 20 applicants, so it goes fast.
Absolutely, and
We'd love to have everyone out there, but
Yes.
the first 20 will take you.
exactly. And in addition to those programs, we have some other programs like the Pledge program, where we work with our local elementary schools, and they come to lead the pledge. And I know you have plans in the future that we'll be back on a future podcast to talk about other civic engagement
Right.
ways.
There's too much to fit into one
pack
podcast,
into
we
one
know, but-
podcast. You're going to be your own little series here, Denise.
Yes. And we have more social media coming up soon. I do want to, can I announce?
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I'm going to go down the list if I can. I'm actually going to look at a list so that I don't miss it. So our social media channels, we have Facebook, Instagram, X, which used to be Twitter, Flickr, Neighbors by Ring, Nextdoor, YouTube, Vimeo, and I want to announce right here that we will be on LinkedIn come this August. So please, if you're on LinkedIn, check it out. We will be launching.
Connect with us.
Yes, we're super excited to be on that platform and connect with our business community and our residents about what we do here in the city of Weston.
So we will meet you where you get your information.
Well, Denise, it's been great having you here today and hearing about the history of Weston and kind of your initial roles and responsibilities and how they've evolved over time. So we appreciate your perspective and your leadership, and we're grateful for everything you do for us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Time flies when we're having fun. I can't believe the podcast flew by today. So we love having you in the studio. Thank you so much again, like Austin said, for this opportunity to explore this platform. We've long wanted, you and I have chatted about a podcast for a long time. And we're excited to have Austin here to make it happen. And we're excited for our listeners to tune in to all of these great conversations and learn more about Weston.
Thank you so much. It's like talking to friends.
Well, Denise, thank you once again for coming into the studio and being a part of the podcast today. Do you have any final words that you would like to share with our listeners?
Thank you, Pam. I do. We have a saying called, "It's the Weston Way," meaning it has to be done to the highest standards. My team is here with me, and I know that when I am no longer with Weston, it will still be done the Weston way. Thank you all.
Well, thank you, Denise. We're grateful to have you on today. You can find The Weston Way anywhere you stream your favorite podcasts, so be sure to listen and subscribe and give us a rating.
And don't forget, we want to hear from you, our listeners. Submit questions to us for future topics at westonfl.org/podcast.
Bye for now.